Welcome to the Amigo CartCast, the podcast where we roll through the ins and outs of material handling with Amigo carts. I'm your host, Samantha Taylor, here with my co-host, Scott Chappell, and we're on a mission to find a better way for material handling.
Thank you, Samantha. Each episode will explore the innovative features, success stories, and the endless possibilities that Amigo material handling carts bring to the table. Let's roll into a world of efficiency, innovation, and endless possibilities. This is the Amigo CartCast.
Welcome to another episode of the Amigo CartCast. During our last episode, if you missed it, we talked a lot about employee satisfaction and retention and how our Amigo material handling units kind of uniquely fit into that. A couple key things were brought up during that conversation with our guest, with Tim. Some that come to mind was customization. So that's how this episode evolved, and we have another guest speaker. A returning guest. Tim is back.
Guest. He's back.
He is back.
He's like Terminator.
Oh,
Very similar. Very similar.
he's kind of tall like the Terminator,
Yes,
too.
he is.
So
Yes, he is.
Today we would like to talk to Tim and Scott. I want to hear your perspective, too. Rather than employee satisfaction, specifically customer satisfaction. And we like to think, all our customers are satisfied and we say yes to everything because we're in sales. And we want to talk specifically around customization and what we're able to do and provide. So, Scott, can you share with our listeners, I guess, how did that start with customization on our material handling products?
So I think it's important to go back to the beginning of time. And when I say that, we're talking 2017, when we basically started to hit the road with our infamous Amigo Roadshow. And we were so excited at the time just to get out and have somebody want us to do a demonstration. Now, you go, what's the big deal about that, right? I mean, you guys sell products, you're salespeople, and you're looking to try to find, to increase sales. Well, you can't increase sales unless there's a need. And you don't know if there's a need unless you visit a location. So we started out by just showing our standard products. So, for example, our Dex Pro Plus deck is 50 inches long by 30 inches wide. So once you get into a facility, and you show somebody what you're able to do, the next obvious question is, well, can you do this? For example, we had a deck with no shelves, and then people said, can you do shelves? And we said, of course we can do shelves. Not that we're promising everything to everybody, because it's difficult, but what we do in that instance is we show the products, we gain interest, and then at that point, if it's something other than a standard product, we come back to our product people, and we say, can we do this? Are we able to do this? So that's kind of how the whole custom thing came about, Samantha, is that once we got on the road, once we started the road shows, we got out, people started asking questions, and then the custom option was born.
It was born. So since then, it has definitely evolved.
It has. Not every company does customization. When you ask for custom things from companies that are possibly producing hundreds and thousands of these items, that's not simple. And if you're listening right now and you've tried to maybe get a different color, you've tried to get a different seat on your lawnmower, those kind of things from large companies, I've been told they just don't do it.
Right.
The neat thing about us and the neat thing about the previous episode with Tim was we talked about culture. We talked about flexibility. Even though that was employee-based, I got news for you. As a company, it makes me very proud when I come back and I say, we have people that want this, this, and this, so it's just not standard. And our people say, they hem and haw a little bit like they can't do it. You'd be amazed at the stuff we're able to do. And we do it reasonably priced. Now, with that being said, I think that plays into our last episode with Tim and his group on what have we done on our end to try to keep costs down. And I think Tim, with his expertise, will also tell you, but I think that's where we're going to go with this.
It is.
Samantha.
You just pretty much threw that softball again to tee up Tim.
I feel like a quarterback.
A quarterback soft. What are we playing here? What sport are we in?
I don't play softball.
I was going to say, he's evidently not into sports.
Right. But I think you just teed it up perfectly to introduce Tim and how he plays in with customization. So Tim, why don't you share a little bit of everything that Scott just touched on, but more in detail. Scott can talk, but let's hear from the expert, shall we?
Exactly.
I don't know about the expert, but I appreciate that. But I think that Amigo through the years has done a fantastic job developing our catalog of standard parts that go with the material line and things. But to think that all of our products are cookie cutter enough that they fit perfectly for everybody would be naive. So having the option to, see a need and fill a need for a customer on within reason, obviously, like you said, I mean, we could dream up some crazy stuff and we could at least quote it, but I think to give ourselves that flexibility to truly meet the customer's need and fulfill their specific application with our product and things. So whether it is adding shelves or adding nets or being able to daisy chain several trailers together like a train or things like that that's specific to their application, I think is what really separates us in this field. So in the manufacturing department, having on site, we just added our big sheet laser and stuff to where it's added both time savings, cost savings in house. We can respond much quicker to a customer's request. We can do quoting and stuff in house, which is a lot quicker than it used to be. I mean, all around, I'm hoping that customer experience is nothing more than amplified in the fact that we can do it all ourselves and control that instead of having to have too many hands in the pie, if you will.
I just want to paint a little picture of the magnitude of some of the things you just said, like something as simple as quoting in-house and saving the time on that. And I just think about how easy it is for us to get the information to then pass it to you and the manufacturing team. And we have it within, if it's not the same day, it's within the next day pretty quickly
Right.
of what that will look like. And from a time and customer satisfaction, who knows if they're looking elsewhere already while we're trying to get our ducks in a row. So that has definitely helped and improve that satisfaction from the customer standpoint to be able to turn things around a little bit faster. I think Scott had also mentioned how we've been able to cut customization costs down, which is important. Customization in any other product or field that you look at can get very pricey. And in a world where, eggs go up to $10 a dozen, let's not spend all our money on a customization if we don't have to. So, Tim, can you expand a little bit on how we've been able to do that through the Amigo manufacturing and just what do we kind of look at as a company?
I think the biggest thing we were able to do was cut out the middleman, and stuff. I mean, the more people or the more companies you have involved in the process, you end up with an increased cost. It just is going to naturally go that way. Each person has to make a portion of profit along the way. And we've cut that out by being the start and the finish, if you will. So, in my manufacturing department and in our machine shop, we can custom make, rails and bend them into different sizes. We can custom make all the sheet metal. The only thing that we're not doing in house right now is powder coat and stuff, but we have, great relationships with our powder coaters, and that's, a very fast turnaround as well. But we have robotic welders, we have our certified welders in house. Within reason, there's pretty much nothing we can't do, and within a reasonable time frame too. So again, when you add in multiple suppliers, that adds time. Customers don't want to order a product and be like, okay, it's now April, we can have that for you in November. I think that's an instant turnoff for a customer. So having to be able to control a reasonable timeline and always shoot to exceed that timeline is what really sets us apart as well.
And Tim, I didn't even think of that, and you just brought up a good point. Our standard product lead time is 4 weeks. Now, in the material handling world, back when COVID hit, certain products were 26, 30, 50 weeks out. And believe it or not, our standard products, I think the longest we got was 6 weeks out because we had a few hiccups, but in general, we didn't. With that being said, customization not only can be expensive, but it can be a time delay. And the unique thing that we tell everybody, depending on what it is, right, is our customization can be a 6 to 8 to potentially, I think the longest we've ever waited was 10 weeks. So with that kind of time frame, not only are we addressing our customers' needs in a timely fashion, but we're also, that's still pretty gosh darn quick in the scheme of things.
Absolutely. Yeah, and as we set ourselves up, our manufacturing department, we're actually set up to be a job shop for hire, if you want to say. So, we can actually do this now third-party work for somebody else if they came to us and can you build this trailer kind of thing. But having the control in-house and obviously, doing our own priorities and being able to have our employees who are out of this world, with their attention to detail and what they want to do and doing it right for the customer, if we need to work additional hours or an extra day or whatever to get ahead to meet a timeline, it'll for sure happen.
I know when I'm on the road and I'm in a warehouse and somebody asks a question, and even though our engineers and our product people here at Amigo think that I say yes to everything, I don't say yes to everything. Just 99.9%. No, I do know that it makes me very comfortable that when somebody asks, I kind of know what we're able to do. And especially with these new machines that our company has invested in and made that commitment, that chances are it's going to be something we're able to do in a timely fashion at a fairly reasonable price. So it just adds, I guess, another tool in our toolbox when we're out on the road doing the Amigo road shows.
So I think that this has just tied everything together so well. I would love to hear in a customization story. So Scott, since you just brought up Roadshow,
Oh my
can you
gosh.
think
This
of
is
a
a lot of pressure.
time like
A lot of pressure.
customer satisfaction, we were able to improve their efficiency in their material handling world? Do you have a favorite story
I
you
have
want
I
to?
have a story. It starts like this. We had an aerospace company in Arizona that reached out to us, and at the time, we had not done a lot of customization at all. So my role here was to get everybody on board, and sometimes that's not so simple. But they took our standard Dex Pro Plus and our trailer on the Dex Pro Plus, and they wanted basically 3 shelves: our base plus 2 shelves. And at that point in time, we just started getting into shelves. Then what they wanted, because the parts at this aerospace company were so delicate, they wanted us to put this nice, probably a 1/2 inch rubber foam kind of base on each shelf that would allow these parts not to possibly get scratched or damaged. Once again, this isn't our world because we don't do it every day, but it's a big deal to them, right? Just like previous episodes was trash. Well, this is what they were looking for. So we went back to production and our engineers at that time, and we said, listen, they need a 1/2 inch. It's like a 30 by 50 sheet. And at the time, the guys are saying, hey, we can do it, but it's expensive. And I said, we'll quote it. If they want it, let's do it. So in this specific case, the reason it was unique, Samantha, was because we have 2 shelves. We have to put this extra little rubber pad on there that they wanted. We had to put some extra special end rails on there, which we hadn't done before, that would keep their products on. Once again, they didn't know they needed this until they seen it. Once they saw it, they had special requests. And then once they had those requests, I talked to our people. It wasn't necessarily a manufacturing thing at that time, but really, if you think about it, our pad had to go on. It had to be adhered to, so we had to use adhesive. I mean, it wasn't something we were going to do a shoddy job on. So in that case, we were able to not only give them the shelves, put the end rails on to hold their products on, but we also supplied this little 1/2 inch pad that was pretty pricey at the time, but that's what they needed to use our products to do the job that they didn't know that they were going to move around.
You wonder too, like how many other places did they maybe ask or seek out, or what were they using
Good point.
before?
Good point.
And we were able to say yes and improve
Right.
their overall satisfaction as a customer. And I'm sure ultimately their employee is happy because they're moving things a little more efficiently.
You just nailed that. You just hit it on the head. And that's because we're never going to hear how many places they went to because they're not going to tell us that,
Right.
right? That's just not how that happens. But for us to be able to do it, I thought where you're going to go with that is how many different applications are there out there today.
Oh my
And it's
goodness.
endless. It
How
truly
many
is.
grains of sand are on a beach? Like, I'm sure.
It's amazing. And,
Yeah.
and so anybody that's listening to this today, if you do have a special need, not that we can do it, and hopefully our product people hear this because that way they know I'm not guaranteeing it. Okay. Because I get accused of that maybe once or twice. But seriously, if somebody's listening today that they think that can't get done, maybe it can't get done, but it might be a situation where we might be able to do it.
Absolutely. Well, I think those are great stories, and it kind of all ties in today's theme, not only of how customization can help improve satisfaction of our customers, but ultimately their employees. So I appreciate, Tim, you joining for another
Thanks for
episode.
having me again. Yeah, it was
of
great.
course. And Scott, thank you for your stories as always.
I've got many.
I know. And you know what? We're going to have many more episodes. So,
I hope so.
all right. Until next time, keep
Keep it rolling.
And that wraps up another episode of the Amigo CartCast. We hope you enjoy this exploration into finding a better way for material handling with Amigo carts. Be sure to subscribe, as well as go to myamigo.com/podcast to see pictures and videos mentioned in today's episode.
Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, keep rolling with Amigo.
Until next time,
Keep it rolling.
keep it rolling.